Hi, my name's Marissa Benson. I'm a graduate student enrolled at the University of Texas at Arlington College of Nursing and Health Innovation. I'm currently in the Leadership in Complex Healthcare Systems class, and this is my leadership book review for Leaders Eat Last. So Simon Sinek's qualifications, he graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts, in Cultural Anthropology. He worked at a couple of different consulting and PR firms before starting his own company, Sinek Partners, where he focused on leadership consulting. He then kind of rose to fame after he wrote a book about the why, which is the purpose behind um, helping organizations rediscover the purpose behind what they were doing to help uh, motivate them. And he also had a TED Talk around the why. And this was very famous, very popular. It's still one of the most viewed TED Talks. He's a self-described optimist. He also has written multiple best-selling books. Interestingly, I couldn't find very much information about his leadership experience specifically. The purpose of Leaders Eat Last is to educate leaders on how to effectively lead in a way that motivates and inspires people. He wants to bring back trust and feeling value to the workplace. He's trying to do this through a leadership lens that really focuses on self-sacrifice. It's really to help create a guide for leading in this way, and then creating a new generation of leaders that put people and empathy at the forefront. The target audience for Leaders Eat Last is leaders at all levels. So this could be a new leader or an experienced leader. He uses a lot of corporate references and military references. There are a couple of other scientific references as well. When you're reading it, it kind of feels like more targeted towards the corporate side of things, but I do feel like it could be used in any field, really, and it has been used in multiple different fields. So a few strengths. It's a very simplified approach to leadership. It seems like you're just getting back to basics. I'm talking about this through the lens of somebody who's worked in healthcare professionally. So I think a lot of people in the healthcare world can totally understand empathy and caring for people and putting other people's needs first. Simon breaks things down into 8 different parts on how to implement some of these leadership strategies and then why we need to implement these leadership strategies. And he gives a lot of the history behind the workplace environment, and how the monetary bottom line had kind of become the focus, and trying to recenter people on people. And that people want to work where they feel valued and where they feel like they matter and where they feel like their boss is going to help them and support them. He uses a lot of science-backed reasoning. He uses scientific examples, he uses real-world examples. I felt that the overarching theme of the book was about creating a circle of safety, which I think is a strength because I think that most people can relate to um, a wanting to feel safe, particularly when they go into work. And so that really helped tie everything together. And he weaved that in throughout the book when talking about his various different examples and techniques. Some shortcomings, there are a lot of general ideas. There aren't very many specific examples of interactions with leaders and staff. If this doesn't work, he doesn't really go into how this might not work or how, if it doesn't work with certain employees, to create the culture, or how to get people out of this culture if they're already dug into it. He's really motivational, but the whole time I was reading, I was kind of thinking that I didn't really hear any about his real world examples. He used it more from his anthropology degree lens of studying people and behaviors, not necessarily from any of his experience. I do think it achieved its objectives. It's very inspirational. He provides numerous real-world examples, some scientific, some anecdotal. I felt like his EDSO chemicals example, where he specifically scientifically talked about our brain chemicals, and how we respond to them, and how people respond to certain behaviors. I think that was very, very helpful and then also effective at achieving the objective. I would recommend this book. I think it's great for both beginners and experienced leaders alike. I think for a new leader, this is wonderful. I think for an experienced leader, it's a great way to revisit, especially if you've been a leader for a while. You can get a little bit, I think, burned out and exhausted from leadership. So it's a good way to reinvigorate and try some new steps. Um, for next steps, I think the next generation, he has a section in the book, in the version that I read about leading millennials. I currently have to lead a lot of Gen Z employees. So I would love to see some more information on that. And I do think there's opportunity to use a few more practical implications in practice and practical examples. There was a lot of overarching themes about cultural safety and how if you behave a certain way, people will follow. For me, I think what would have been helpful is a little bit more specific examples of what happens when people don't want to follow, even if you are leading in that way. And here are my references. Thank you so much for your time.